Great, Citation Film Fans Team Movies here with the new film Brian Banks opening this week. Since the film stars Greg Kinnear, and since he's also was just in a movie called Phil, and since he's also in a new movie coming out next month called Stranger But True, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Greg Kinnear movies. Because I gotta say, Greg Kinnear is kind of an underrated actor. He's not really an actor like lots of people really talk about, to be honest with you. Like, some people do know the name of Greg Kinnear. Then there's other people, when you say the name Greg Kinnear to that person, they'll like, look at you with a blank answer and be like, who? And I think the guy is just magnificent. I mean, I don't think he has an Oscar win, if I'm not mistaken. I think he got a nomination, but can't remember if he got a win or not. But anyway, and he looks great in that new movie, Brian Banks, and I'm actually really looking forward for that film as well. So, with that being said, here's my 10 favorite Greg Kinnear movies. Coming in at number 10 is a film called Dear God. Now, Dear God is directed by Gary Marshall, and it stars Greg Kinnear as his con man named Tom Turner, who pretty much promises the judge that he'll get like an honest job for pretty much like a year and all. But when he ends up starting to work in the U.S. Post Office's dead letter office, he ends up moving. He's pretty much moved by some of the letters addressed directly to God, and so he starts. Pretty much, he starts as a good Samaritan con by replying to the letters, and his co-workers are played by Laurie Metcalf, Tim Conway, and Hector Elizondo, are pretty much inspired to do the same. So this is like so I guess you could say this is like a faith-based movie in a way, and it's a really good little film. It's Gary Marshall. I thought he did a remarkable job directing this. I mean, it's a really interesting concept where a man, reads like letters from God, and he ends up pretty much replying back as if he was God himself. It's really touching. Like he turns like towards the beginning, he turns out not to be that good of a guy, but then down the line, you start to pretty much fall for the guy and I just thought Greg Kinnear was great. I mean, this movie got released in the 90s, and it's actually a really underrated little gem. And if you guys haven't seen Dear God yet, go check it out. It's a really good one. Coming in at number 9 is going to Stuck on You. Now, this film is actually directed by the Farrelly brothers, and it's really funny. I mean, the film Stuck on You, it's about these conjoined twins played by Greg Kinnear and Matt Damon, who pretty much make the best of their handicap by being like the fastest grill cook in town. And so played by Kinnear hopes to one day become like a famous actor, and Bob pretty much prefers to stay out of the spotlight and all. And you got Cher playing Cher, where she decides to get her show Honey and the Bees. And, pretty much, she's pretty much trying to get her show, Honey and the Bees, canceled, and she ends up hiring, she pretty much ends up hiring the brother as her, co-stars. And I mean, it's really interesting concept. Like, it's kind of like a weird version of Dumb and Dumber, but except, they're conjoined twins, and you got, Ava Mendes is in this. I thought Ava Mendes was great. I really like the chemistry with Greg Kinnear and Matt Damon. I mean, you really brought them as brothers. Like they really felt like brothers in a way. And their chemistry they really had some good chemistry here. And if you guys haven't seen Stuck on You, it's pretty dumb at times, but it's pretty fun. It's it has lots of heart to it. And yeah, definitely go check out Stuck on You if you guys haven't seen that. Coming in at number 8 is going to be a film called Same Kind of Different as Me. Now, the film is based on a true story of a art dealer named Ron Hall, played by Greg Kinnear, who befriends with a homeless man played by John Hansu in the hopes of saving his struggling marriage to his wife, played by Renee Zellweger. And And you got John Voight, who also plays Ron's dad in this, and they pretty much like Kinnear and Hansu both really strike up as a interesting friendship for one another. And it's also a film about, it's also a faith-based movie. And I really like the chemistry between Greg Kinnear and Jamin Hansu. I think this is probably Jamin Hansu's best performance in recent years. I know he was terrific in this movie. Renee Zellweger was amazing. And this is a really underrated film. I mean, it didn't get well received when it got released because most faith-based movies don't really get that well received. But it's actually not as bad as the critics made it out to be. I mean, it's really touching. It's pretty much a film about helping people and helping people in need, and great film about friendship and God and all. And it's a really decent film. And if you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's a really good one. Coming in at number 7 is a film called Thin Ice. In it, Greg Kinnear stars as this guy named Mickey Prohaska, who's like a small-time insurance agent who's trying to look for a way to jumpstart his business. And he ends up reuniting with his strange wife, played by Leah Thompson, and ends up escaping the Wisconsin weather. And so there, he pretty much believes that like the salesmanship is about to it's pretty much about selling a story and all that. So he ends up and so like pretty much or he needs a sucker willing to buy off the house and all. And so this lonely retired farmer played by Alan Arkin, who is pretty much sitting on something much bigger than an insurance commission. And so Mickey tries to con the old guy, and pretty much just spins out of control when a unstable locksmith played by Billy Crudup tries to volatile temper dramatically, and there's lots of up at stake, and there's also a murder that unfolds as well. And Thin Ice is a really underrated film. It kind of feels like the movie Fargo in a way. This literally feels like a Coen Brothers film, and I really it. It was also a mystery film as well. There's some mystery film stuff that rhymes with this, and there's double crossing here. And I really like the chemistry with Alan Arkin and Greg Kinnear. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen this movie too. I think the last time I saw this movie was maybe in 2011. It's been sort of a while since I've seen it. But I remember really digging when I first saw it. It's a really interesting dark comedy, and it's very twisted at times with interesting twists and turns. And yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance to check out Thin Ice yet, give it a go. And boy, I gotta rewatch this movie again. Coming in at number 6 is going to be a film called Heaven is for Real. Now, the film is about this firefighter played by Greg Kinnear, who's their youngest son, Colton, undergoes some terrible surgery, and he actually, this is a little heartbreaking. The kid sadly ends up passing away, but he ends up being okay throughout the whole film because when he woke up, he told his dad and his mom and everyone that he actually, when he died, he went to heaven, and God ended up giving him a second chance. And he's it's actually based on a true story, and it's a remarkable true story event. I mean, crazy that this actually really happened in real life. And it's also another faith-based movie about God and all that. And it's, once again, another Christian film. I mean, it is a really it's really heartbreaking to know that this kid actually went through this. And I thought Greg Kinnear played the father role really well. I thought Greg Kinnear was great in this. The one who plays his wife, Kelly Raleigh, was amazing. Thomas Hayden Church played Kinnear's co-worker. Thomas Hayden Church was great. The one who plays the son and daughter They were both remarkable. Really good film. It's very inspirational, very touching, and if you guys haven't seen it yet, go check out Heaven is for Real. It's a really good film, and you're gonna need some tissues while you're watching us. Alright, coming in at number 5 is a great one. It's the cult classic Mystery Man. Mystery Man is a great superhero film. It's really hilarious. I mean, this movie got pretty much got released around the time where superhero movies wasn't that big as it was today. I mean, yeah, in the '90s there was stuff like Batman Returns, there was Blade and all, but they weren't as popular as today standards, you know. And I mean, you got Greg Kinnear as the character of Captain Amazing. You got Jeffrey Rush as a Casanova Frankenstein. You also got people like Paul Rubens, Kel Mitchell was in this. Ben Stiller, William H. Macy, Janeane Garofalo. Such an awesome, fun, entertaining film. And sad to say the movie did not do so well when it got released. But you know what? If this movie had got released today, I guarantee you it would have done much better in the box office. Especially with stuff like Marvel being, high standards now. But man, if you guys never seen Mystery Man, do yourself a favor, go watch Mystery Man. It's such an awesome, fun film. Alright, coming in at number 8, coming in at number 4, sorry about that. Coming in at number 4 is going to be it's pretty much going to be the James L. Brooks film, As Good as It Gets. Now, the film stars Jack Nicholson as his writer named Melvin Odell, who's very rude to everyone he meets, including, Greg Kinnear actually plays his gay neighbor, Simon, and Melvin is also very rude to Simon, but he ends up, he has to look after Simon's dog, and he also pretty much has a relationship with this waitress played by Helen Hunt. Now, Greg Kinnear's role is not as big as you expect, but it's a really good role. I really like the interaction between Greg Kinnear and Jack Nicholson. You also had Cuba Gooding Jr. was in this. Really terrific film. I mean, James L. Brooks did a fantastic job at directing. I mean, I believe Greg Kinnear actually scored an Oscar nomination for this, if I'm not mistaken. Gotta double check that. But it's really good. And I mean, great friendship between Jack Nicholson and the dog. I mean, that's a good friendship right there. Such a really amazing film. And if you guys never seen As Good as It Gets, go check it out. It's a really good one. Coming in at number 3 is going to be a film called The Matador. Now, it's about the salesman named Danny Wright, played by Greg Kinnear, who's working at to his shocky marriage and the death of his child. But he ends up bumping into a dispirited guy named Jillian Noble, played by Pierce Brosnan, and they end up pretty much develop an unusual bond between the two. And it also revealed that Jillian is a contract killer, and so pretty much Jillian ends up showing at Danny's home and asking for a life-changing favor that pretty much put their friendship to the test. So they team up to take down a ruthless guy. And I mean, I haven't seen this movie for a while, but The Matador is a really interesting one. I mean, I really like the chemistry between Greg Kinnear and Pierce Brosnan. It was directed by this director named Richard Shepard. He did a cool job at directing. It's a really dark comedy. It has some dark humor in it. It also has lots of violence in it too. Yeah, I gotta rewatch this movie again too. But if you guys, I'd say give The Matador a go. It's a really interesting film. Coming in at number 2 is going to Little Miss Sunshine. It's pretty much about this man played by Greg Kinnear, who's him and his wife, played by Toni Collette, a uncle played by Steve Carell, a brother played by Paul Dano, and his and pretty much his dad played by Alan Arkin. They are pretty much a family who pretty much like decide to go on a road trip in a RV and they decide to head to California to support their daughter and to support the daughter played by Abigail Breslin in a Little Miss Sunshine contest and all. And Little Miss Sunshine is really interesting. I mean, it has the classic song "Super Freak" in there. I mean, who didn't like that song? Abigail Breslin scored her first ever Oscar nomination, and Abigail Breslin was remarkable in this film. Steve Carell was terrific. Alan Arkin. I mean, another movie that Kinnear and Alan Arkin worked together on. They were both great in this. It's interesting father and daughter relationship too. Like I really like the daughter and father dynamic between Kinnear and Breslin. And Paul Dano was of course great. I mean, if you guys haven't seen Little Miss Sunshine, it's a really interesting one. It's really funny. It's heartfelt. Yeah, I mean, crazy that this movie got released in 2006. Dang. I feel really old right there. Okay, my number one favorite Greg Kinnear movie of all time is going to Autofocus. Now, Greg Kinnear plays Hogan's Hero actor Bob Crane, and it's pretty much about his Bob Crane's life and his. It also features his encounters with many women and his friendship with John Henry Carpenter, played by Willem Dafoe, and also showcases on how he passed away and all that, and it showcases from his life his life on Hogan's Heroes to his friendship with Carpenter to his untimely death. I think it's Greg Kinnear's best film there is. I think he was great as Bob Crane. I mean, if you Google Bob Crane and Google Greg Kinnear, they literally look a lot alike. So that was really perfect casting. And Greg Kinnear, I really liked his chemistry with Willem Dafoe. You also had Maria Bello was in this. Really interesting cast members. And I think Greg Kinnear probably should have got. I don't know if I should double check, but if not, I think he should have gotten an Oscar nomination for this because it's actually the best performance of his career. He was just he was great at that role. Now, I have recently seen this movie, I think it was on HBO not so long ago. It's a really terrific film. And if you guys never seen Autofocus, go check Autofocus out. It's a really interesting look at the life of Bob Crane, and Willem Dafoe was, of course, great in this too. So, yeah, definitely go check out Autofocus. It's a really interesting one. But that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. 10, Dear God. 9, Stuck on You. 8, Same Kind of Different as Me. 7, Thin Ice. 6, Heaven is for Real. 5, Mystery Man. 4, As Good as It Gets. 3, The Matador. 2, Little Miss Sunshine. And 1, Autofocus. Now, there's a few other ones I probably could have added as well. Let me get the list out. Now, even though it wasn't a movie, I gotta say it's another really good performance of his. And it's where he played John F. Kennedy in the miniseries The Kennedys, which was a miniseries for Reel's channel. His other stuff included... Let me see. He's in that new Red Sea Diving Resort, which is on Netflix. He was just in a movie called Phil, which he also directed. He's in a new movie called Frankie, which comes out in October. I'm actually interested in that. He was great in Brigsby Bear. I still haven't seen Little Man. I heard lots of great things about Little Man. Still haven't seen it. He was in a movie called Confirmation, Murder of a Cat, Stuck in Love, The English Teacher, I Don't Know How She Does It with Sarah Jessica Parker, Salvation Boulevard, which also had Pierce Brosnan, The Last Song with Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth, Green Zone, Flash of Genius, Ghost Town, Baby Mama, Fast Food Nation, Unknown, Invincible, Bad News Bears, Robots, Godsend. That movie was kind of terrible, by the way. We Were Soldiers, Nurse Betty, The Gift. Not to be confused with the Joe Erickson film, by the way. You Got Mail, As Good. Oh, I already said As Good as It Gets. Beavis Butthead Do America, Sabrina, and he was also just on the Twilight Zone series as well, the recent Twilight Zone reboot. He was also just in House of Cards. I mean, guy has interesting films and TV credits. Crazy that people still don't know who Greg Kinnear is, because I think he's a remarkable actor, and I wish he gets recognized more. But let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite Greg Kinnear movies? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is T Movies signing off.